Okay, you guys know this is my favorite part, always going straight to the buying guide. So let's look at everything we picked for a True Readers Library. Click the buying guide. All right, I'm going to start with some of my highlights, the first of which is this amazing lamp that we put on the desk. It feels sort of like a sculpture, but it's functional because it's a reading light. But it looked like a question mark to me, which I thought was so apt in a library. And it also had this weird futuristic quality, which kind of reminded me of some books where they're set way in the future. So I thought that was just the perfect pick. And then I love that we picked this little leather dog. And you guys heard me talk about why we chose him, but I love that he had that little orange collar, and I thought that it really harked back to some of the books that she picked for the room. Everything that I wanted to choose for this space, I wanted it to reflect some of the books that she chose and feel like a library without feeling too literal. I really wanted to put wallpaper in this space because I wanted to show a great room that you can paper where you don't have to buy tons of wallpaper, because it's a library and it's usually smaller and there's usually a lot of millwork and of course the shelves. And so, hello Amy Mills. We chose Amy Mills' phenomenal wallpaper. She runs Paper Mills, and this wallpaper has this crazy cool metallic kind of bluish, pale blue sheen in the back with this really direct green, just screen printed matte green pattern on top that was this awesome twist on a really traditional wallpaper. It felt really elegant but yet whimsical to me, and I love it. If you guys can see how amazing it is in person, you will die. Everyone should check this out. But one of my favorite things that we chose for this space were these two pieces of art that we hung on the wall with the books, and here's why I love them. They almost feel like you just walked into a crime novel, like maybe you just walked into a room before you're about to get murdered, or you're walking into a room and Mr. Darcy's about to meet you. It just felt like this moody environment, and I thought that was so cool in the library. I love it that we picked this zebra rug. He's faux, which I think is great. And I liked it, the little conversation that it had with these faux horn, kind of faux ivory pulls that we used on all the cabinets. It reminded me of one of those novels that you would read that's set in, 1900 South Africa, where someone's falling in love with an expat hunter. It just felt really interesting, and I loved the dialogue that these two had with each other. I wish you could see the other had put the other direction of this vase, but it has a little mustache, and I loved that it was kissy lips on one side and a man on the other, and it felt like this incognito spy kind of thing happening. And so this was the vase that we put on our desk, and we filled it with, big bunch of peonies, but you could really use anything that feels whimsical and colorful, like Gerber daisies or something like that. Her trash can is a crumpled piece of paper. Duh. And then Sarah loves to read books digitally on her iPad, and so I thought, why not give her an amazing iPad cover that is William Shakespeare's library card? And that just clicks on the back. I love that. And on her desk, of course, she has to have a pad of paper, and so we found a really amazing pad of paper that is all the spines of Penguin books. And then we gave her pens that are bullets, because that felt super dangerous. Her chaise has this great pillow. You've seen me use it before. It reminds me of a kind of a tongue-in-cheek take on a Rorschach print. So it reminded me of some of the psychological thrillers she picked, some of the books that she picked in some of her fun categories like Demented Students or Wealthy People Behaving Badly. And then this pillow that we put right in front of it had this ethereal, moody kind of garden feeling that felt like a great romance novel or one of her books from her category, like that emotionally wrecks you. We also put by her chaise this great vase, which is a hand holding an ice cream cone, and so many things that I chose for the room. I wanted it to feel like it was almost like the impetus to start a story, like a story was about to begin. And we filled it with roses, and then I gave her this great plate that reminded me of Wind in the Willows. It looks like a little badger on it. And if you guys like to bake, these are the best little bonbons. They're lime covered in chocolate, which is delicious, and I thought it coordinated with the room because the room's green. And why wouldn't Sarah sit and eat bonbons when she reads in her library? Everything we used to style out the shelves, again, was kind of a tongue-in-cheek take on a traditional theme. I loved how this bowl had this one hit of chartreuse. I've used this before. These bowls they look like two different patterns of china just fused and got married. And it's really interesting when you see these in person on a shelf. This is my favorite fish bowl. It looks like glass mountains inside. And then all the bookends even were really carefully curated. I love these Jeff Koons doggies because I feathered in some of my favorite art books on the shelves because I'm the designer and I get to do what I want to do. But I used some of these little Jeff Koons doggies, but I also mixed them with these more traditional food dogs. And I love that we have a whole little tribe of pups on the shelves. And then of course we gave the doggy, the little leather dog, in the room too. And these were agate bookends that were green, that kind of kept the green theme going in the room. And then we even found some bookends that were quotation marks, of course. We even used these little Moby Dick vases on the shelves. They're little whales, and we stuck little tulips in their tails. And then this last vase that we used to style out the shelves looked like a pistol for crime novels. And then of course these are my favorite picture frames. You've seen me use them a ton, and they're a great price and they look fabulous in any space. So I hope you guys love what we picked for this room. It was such a treat working with Sarah, and it was really fun thinking about how to style out a library like this and how to give it that feeling, that literary feeling, without being too in your face. So we'll see you next week.